Hey guys, I will show you today how to make a silicone mermaid bra, and you can use this for cosplay on the land or also in the water. And I would say let's start. The things you will need are first a bra in your size. I'm using a beige one in my size without the straps. Then you need the seashell mold to make the seashells. Also you will need silicone. And because we are using silicone on silicone, you will need a release agent. I'm using this all from the brand Wagner Seal. I'll link you this in the description box. Also we need some pigments, fabric, I'm using this like scale one, and also some jewelry like pearls and chains to add later to your bra. And yeah, I'll link you everything in the description box, and I would say let's start really. At the beginning I was putting the release agent onto my mold and with a brush, and please be sure that you cover all spots because although your silicone will stick to it. Then I mix in the silicone. I was using like 35 grams for each part of the silicone, and please mix them really well. And mix it with the end of a spoon. Then I'm adding white pigments to it. You can see what the name is, and you can get this in every German craft store. And with a little bit of blue, I'm mixing a light blue. And then I'm spreading this silicone with the end of my spoon, and I later figured out a better way because on this way I had some air bubbles in it, and what was not so good because air bubbles are holes and the seashell was not looking even. When the latex is a little bit harder, I spread it on the edges, and to make the edges more secure I cut out some tie. It's the white word, I really don't know. And just was laying it onto the seashell when it still was red, or what you call it. And then I'm pressing it down into the silicone, and that's really good because the silicone has a good elasticity. But you can easily rip it so into parts, and that's what we don't want to. So now the silicone is hard, and because this was my second try to make a seashell, and I still did some mistakes. And the mistake I did here was now letting it dry flat. And really, how you can see, I just lay it down, and then I made the third. Again, the release agent, putting down the silicone, and now I'm changing to a brush, and that's way more better. The brush you can't use after this, but that's a cheap brush from Amazon. Those really cheap makeup brushes you can get there, and so it was not sad about it. Spread it, and a little bit later just spread the silicone all over, and you will not have any air bubbles, or if you have air bubbles you will not see them. And here you can see how I cut it easily with a scissor in the shape I want. Please be sure to cut the white parts. You can see here now, on the left you can see the round, and on the right you can see the flat, but we want the round ones, so yeah, that was not so good. In the meanwhile I was putting the fabric onto the top. I was laying it down on my mannequin how I want it. you don't have to do straps, but I thought that would look way more better. And then I just took a scissor and cut how I wanted. To have the fabric onto your neck, to make the straps, please be sure that you have enough fabric to make a knot, or what it's called. To make the back, I just cut out 2 little straps and I glue them later down. Because I didn't like the flat seashell, in the meanwhile I did a fur seashell and it turned out way more better than the second one, the flat one, and yeah, I was really happy. And then I just glued the fabric down onto my bra. And the edges I secured with a hot glue gun. Always be sure to secure the edges, because when there's anything that wants to go off, then it will begin at the edges. Then I also did the back. It's really not hard to do it, it's just gluing everything down. Can't use enough glue. I know that in America you have the, what it's called, E6000 glue. I think that you can use this. I'm not sure, but I think that you can use it. So then I trimmed the edges with a scissor because I didn't want anything over it. How long you need to make this bra? I would say you can make this in 1 or 2 days. I was a little bit lazy, but yeah. What I did then was mixing silicone again, spread it onto my seashell like this, really press it into the tie fabric, or what it's called, and then just pressing it down and really putting it with some pins in there to secure it, because when the silicone is getting hot, it connects the fabric of the bra, the scale fabric, the thigh fabric, and the silicone from the seashell, and it will never come. Or you're really strong, then maybe you can rip it off, but yeah. And on the next morning I was really happy because it worked, like I was hoping. Then I removed the pins, mixed some silicone again with some blue color and painted the seashells with a brush again. Here again you can't use the brush after this, but it was worth it. Just add some shadows, and so it's not looking really boring. Then I mixed some gold pigments also with the silicone and just dropped it on the edges. After that I used some fake bamboo leaves. I got also in the craft store for like €4 or like this, and cut them into little pieces and just glue them down. Here you could also use the silicone, but I'm a pro student and I didn't want to use my silicone, yes. When I'm doing maybe a second one, I would also use the silicone to secure them, because the temperature of the hot glue gun melted down the leaves. And yeah, then they're coming off because they were melting at the part where I was putting down the glue gun. Please be careful when you're using a hot glue gun, because I burned myself all the time. Really, my fingertips are hurting after this. Yeah, please be sure I'm using sometimes a scissor to really get a little punch to stick there, because you're not sticking your finger into the hot glue gun stuff. So yeah, after this I was using, so on the end I was using the pearls. And here you can see how I'm using the scissor to really press it down, so I'm not using my finger. And the pearls you can add where you want to. I thought that it looks way more prettier with the pearls, but you can make a natural one without some pearls and or with everything else you want to add there. Pearl chain or whatever it is, necklace, you don't know how to call it. I was laying down in the shape of endless symbol, so yeah. And also I was putting some single pearls onto it here. You can add everything you want, maybe some other little shells. Okay, and here's a little hint for you to make it strapless, because I think that for photo shooting a strapless bra looks way more prettier than one with straps. But also depends on the size of your chest, and for swimming I really would say use the straps, because maybe the bra is coming off in the water if you're fast enough. Yeah, just secure the straps in the back like this, and you have a strapless bra. Yeah, thank you for watching. That's the finished seashell bra. If you have any questions, please write it in the comments and I will help you how I can. Yeah, I hope you liked the tutorial. Please give some thumbs up or subscribe or leave a comment. Please a nice one, and I would say bye.